afternoon, good evening, good night, and welcome to Throwbacks, where we talk all things cool and retro. And this week we start our best of 2024 series. We're going to go through a lot of things from Joe's to Star Wars to wrestling and a lot of things in between. But today is the best of the rest. So we're going to kind of go over those things that maybe me and Uncle BJ don't fully collect all in. You know, kind of like Marvel Legends, NECA, Super 7, things like that that are kind of fringe. That we, well, of course, Marvel Legends aren't fringe, but, you know, they're fringe to us because we just don't really dive in too deep on those. So this is going to be the best of the rest, top 5. Alright, starting off at number 5. This is from a toy company that's dabbled a little bit in my collection, but hasn't really gotten too deep until now. I'm starting to go down this rabbit hole, and that is with the big rubber guys from the Major Pod guys, Major Bendies, those kind of things. I've kind of found a niche with these things. I think I'm going to start collecting at least the Territory, AWA, NWA type guys. And this figure right here fits right into that collection with the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Bloody Ric Flair. Now, this was one I was like, you know what? If I'm going to have one, let it be the Nature Boy. And then I got this figure. I was like, man, this thing rocks. It's so cool. It's so well done. You know, for an LJN style figure, the lightness is there. The blood is cool. It feels just like an LJN. Obviously, for me, LJNs were a little bit before my time, but I do have a few as they are part of wrestling history. So I picked this up and I just loved it. And that said, you know what? That got me thinking I need to delve a little bit deeper into these guys. So I've got a few things on order and a few more things that I'm definitely going to order when that time comes. But for me, number 5, the New York, again, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Nature Boy Ric Flair from the Big Rubber Guys. Alright, coming in at number 4 is from a major toy company. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely make top 10s, top 20s, maybe even top 100s from this toy line, and that is from the Marvel Legends, and that is going to be from the biggest movie of the year, and that is going to be Wolverine. And here we go with the movie version of Wolverine from, of course, Deadpool and Wolverine. This figure just rocks, and I do think we get kind of the best head sculpt that we've ever gotten of Hugh Jackman for the Wolverine. And I do have that right here for you. Just a very good head sculpt there. Makes me want to have another, you know, Hugh Jackman figure to put that on. But definitely a very, very good figure. It pops, it's bright, it looks just like it should. I hope we get a dirty version of this figure. That would be pretty awesome. But for right now, here in 2024, this is easily a top 5 figure, coming in at number 4 from Deadpool and Wolverine from Marvel Legends, Wolverine. Alright, and coming in at number 3 is a twofer. I could not separate these guys. These were 30 years in the making, and if you follow my channel, you know I'm quite the Power Ranger fan. And coming in at number 3 are not just one, but 2. Good old Bulk, good old Skull from Super 7, the Ultimate line. Man, I admit there's a little bit of just finally getting this figure nostalgia bump going on here with Bulk and Skull. But I also think Super 7 really just hammered these. I think they did an amazing job on these. For Super 7, I think the face sculpts are really good for Super 7. I think they really nailed that. And I think you got a really good, you know, definition of, you know, Season 1, Season 2/3 of Bulk and Skull here, that you can change out the heads and really get kind of different versions here. So I really think Super 7 hit a home run with these two Ultimates, and that's why they come in at number 3 on my list of the top 24 figures. Top 24, the top figures of 2024. Alright, we are finally at the top 2. And I'll be honest, this is when I went back and forth, and for one pretty big chunk of the year, one of these figures really held the top spot, but here recently it was dethroned. But so number 2 is going to come to us from the Nacelle Company, and that is from Biker mice from Mars. This figure just rocks. I love it. It blew away all my expectations. Is it the greatest figure of all time? Of course not. But you know what? From what I expected, what we got, and I think price point and everything like that, and niche and all those things, it just comes together to be just such a fun, good figure. And I just really dig it a lot. Yeah, I just love this figure so much. I think they just killed it on this figure. Very good job. Really kind of a perfect one and done. If you want the other guys, you can certainly do that. I have this one. This is the one random one that I had as a kid. I had to get him in this kind of ultimate form here. So from the Cell Company, coming in at number 2, the good old Biker Mice from Mars. Alright, and before we get to number 1, do us a favor. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Put your top 5 figures. Heck, even judge mine. Say, you're crazy, you're a genius, or you're kind of right where you need to be on your top 5 list of figures. Leave that in the comments down below. And while you're there, of course, like this video and subscribe to the channel as we post new content every single day. And we'll be posting, like I said, a lot more of these top 5s. We may even do a couple negative ones. We'll do a couple top 5 bad figures of the year. I think Uncle BJ is perfectly suited to lay down the law on some figures that just didn't quite meet our expectations. But one that did meet and, dare I say, exceed my expectations for the number 1 best of the rest figure of 2024 comes from the McFarlane line, and it comes out to be none other than Poison Ivy. And I know this is kind of a what, but you know what? Like, I had zero expectations for this figure, and I don't even think that plays really into it all that much. I think they just home run to this figure. I think the face is great. The absolute banger color here on her hair is just mind-blowing. The detail, the top of the head, the extra leaves and all that stuff that they did through the top, her eyes with the, the leaves and the makeup just are awesome. Or arm sleeves here that I think were like a lace type thing. I think they did a good way of getting that in without really kind of taken away from it. You get the detail here of the hand, the rings, and then of course her costume itself. Just the detail and sculpting here on these leaves. And they could have just done straight green, but they added the yellow and the shading and the wash and all that stuff. And then you get again down here to her tights. Just amazing detail. And I've pointed out on some things, like recently I did a WWE Mattel unboxing, and one of the wrestlers on there had some paint on their stuff, and I was like, man, if they just sculpted that, it would have been so much better. And here we have an example of that where it's sculpted in, and they could have just easily cheaped out and just did the leaves and called it a day. The same way they could have easily just done one single shade of color here, but no. They go all out. They give it extra shading, from the thighs down to the knees and even down to the boots, where they continue that extra design all the way down into the boots. Just an outstanding figure. Really one that I think people underestimate. But this thing just is amazing, and just totally blown away by it. And a figure that I'm just super happy to have in my collection. One that I'm glad I went all out and made sure to get this figure. And it's definitely a fronter in my collection. But that is going to be it for my 2024 figures of the year, at least the best of the rest. We'll have plenty more coming up, so I hope you guys hang out and enjoy those. But it is about that time to get on out of here. It is time to throw one back. It's time to... Oh, I lost a head. It's time to go ahead and throw one back. So for myself and Uncle BJ, we'll see you all next time.